Okay, so I will call this meeting of the Woodstock Town Board, the December 15th meeting to order. And first order of business is the pledge of flag.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have the list of public heard.
Joe Barton.
You have the time clock.
I don't have a
Where's
motion.
Jay
Anyone
went?
want?
Where's Jay went?
Jay
still.
has a cold, I think you
I
said.
put in a motion, freedom of information, and I wanted an item for item accounting of all costs of material and labor. First I was given just this paper, which does not answer what I asked for. It's payroll and stuff, but it's some of the money spent. Then Jeremy gave me all these documents, which none of them provide what I'm asking for. Once again, I'm asking for an accounting of all costs, material and labor. I want to know what the materials are and what they cost that went into the community center.
Let me explain to you how a FOIL works.
We don't,
A FOIL works, you can only FOIL for a document that the town has. The town does not create a document. So whatever format they're giving it to you in is the format that we have it. So nothing gets created for a FOIL. You can only FOIL for something that the town has.
Are you telling me that the town doesn't have an itemized, item for item, what
No,
you
that's
paid?
what they told you last week? No.
we know the total of what we paid, but we do not have, we got contracts. You have the contracts there. Jeremy had a spare copy that he was
Right.
kind enough to give you. And that gives total prices for the scope of work for each of the five contractors. Five contractors.
It does not.
No, but the
No.
contractor should,
Hold on one at a
the
time.
contractor should have given the board or the town
That's not the.
No, that's not the way it works.
what was replaced.
So
No.
it works like
Sure.
this. We want an electrician to do all the stuff on the plans. We ask for bids. We get a bid from this electrician, second electrician, third electrician, to do everything on our plans. When we get the bids, we take the lowest bid. We
That
don't
wasn't
ask them to, hold on, we
then
don't
I-
ask them to itemize every single thing. They have a list of every single thing from the architect.
Then I'd like to see the
But
first plans.
the bid is a total bid. We don't ask them to break it down.
All right, then I want a copy of the first set of plans, and then I want a copy of the revised plans.
Send me an email.
I will.
Send me an email.
I will.
Yep.
But I want
But
both.
those are gonna cost money to have the architect print them up.
Well, I'm indigent, and under freedom of information, you have to give them up.
No, if
I
we
know-
don't,
I know
if
the
the
law
architect,
now.
yeah, but if the architect has them and we don't have them, you can't FOIL the architect for them, and your time's up, but,
Thank you, Joe.
you can't FOIL the architect for them, you can FOIL us. If we don't have them, we don't have them, Joe. It's just that simple, I hate
All
to
right,
say it.
then I'll call the architect, that's, okay.
Okay,
Les Walker.
Joe went into parts 2 and 3 of what was not satisfied with our freedom of information
Tyler
request
doesn't want to stop.
with the community center. But I still need to get the rules by which the town operates. I noticed in the public be heard we signed up for the town of Woodstock, so I don't know if this is public be heard for Woodstock Colony of the Arts, unless we know which venue we're in and the rules that we play by. We are not able to talk about the theft of intellectual property, both in terms of a trademark dispute with Chet 5 and the obvious demise and swindle of the town, of the legacy of decades of public access original content creators. So we're asking now for a charter of the town or hamlet of Woodstock, town of Woodstock or Woodstock Colony of the Arts. The mission statement of the town or hamlet of Woodstock, town of Woodstock or Woodstock Colony of the Arts. The bylaws of the town or hamlet of Woodstock, town of Woodstock or Woodstock Colony of the Arts. Because oftentimes you're in one venue, you're confused, and therefore you're not heard. Finally, I want to stress the importance of original content creators having access to their content. Here we have jars, number 1, for your perusal. down and take a look at it. That comes from my body. That's cancer that was removed. I want to be able to put this on video and create a video that I, as the original content creator, own. But now that I have been hacked, that I can't get a file, I can't get a DVD made, I am unable to speak to the community. Now, whether you believe in a natural cure for cancer or not, that's not the issue. The issue is an issue of free speech and being able to connect with the community that we've developed over the entire world. And WoodstockTV.org is offline. This is completely in violation of the public, of the education, and of the government channels. Right now, all of the community of Woodstock on cable should be able to watch this meeting in live time.
Thank you, Paul.
Not only can it not be watched in live
Time's
time,
up.
Jeremy,
I do-
there's, the
Paul.
last 4 meetings haven't been posted on the library website, so you can't see the old ones.
I believe the Time Warner has corrected that problem. I believe that we're going out live now.
No, you're not. You're not going out
I'm
on
te-
the
I'm
World
telling you
Wide Web.
what
People
we
all
did.
over the
I
world
got
I'm telling you.
That's the
Cannot-
original.
Oh, okay.
cannot pick
Okay,
us up.
thank you. You can take
This is
this.
what's being stopped. This
Randy
is
Steele?
simple cancer. We're not legal fictions.
In light of what I just heard, I'm yielding my time to...
Felicia Kachik?
Joe and Paul.
I yield my time to Joe and Paul.
No, you're not yielding to, no, I told you that, guys, a few meetings ago, that you don't yield your time to somebody else, everybody gets 2 minutes.
We
Under
need
the
to
rules
see
of
these
the town
rules.
board.
Oh, okay, I call for a vote, that the people have
Joe.
more rights.
Joe, sit
I
there.
no, I have a right to call for a
No, you
vote.
didn't,
All
Joe.
in favor of the people getting more than 2 minutes, raise your hand.
Okay, resolutions.
Let's count. How many?
1, 2, 3,
Be
4,
it
5.
resolved to accept the minutes for the meetings held on November 17th, November 30th, and December 12th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3, 0, 0, 1. Be it resolved to accept the town clerk's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3, 0, 2. Be it resolved to authorize the transfers per transfer sheet.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
motion carries. Be it resolved to authorize payment of water vouchers in the amount of $101,150.35.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And one last motion that I'm going to make that came in late, generally we didn't have time to put it on, but it's to authorize the supervisor to seek bids for the installation of the brick panels, the wainscoting, and trim on the south wall of the community center. This is for, if I have a second.
Second.
So this is for the installation, the south wall is the kitchen side, and one section is up, there are 2 more sections to be done, and this is for the labor this is to seek bids for the labor to install the wainscoting, the trim, the panels, and to move all the lighting and electrical fixtures out and to paint it all.
I believe it's also for the wood, for the wainscot.
It's for the materials,
Yeah, for the material.
for any of the materials, the incidental materials, the panels are being provided by the town, and the bricks already owned by the town.
Can I see a sheet? I'll just wait for this one.
So Joe, in
That's
case you were
really-
paying attention to this resolution, it's the same concept. We're asking for bids to put up the panels, buy the wainscoting, do all the labor, and the person who gives us the lowest bid with the description we put out will get the contract. Now, we are not asking the contractors to tell us how much every gallon of paint costs, every piece of wood costs, every outlet. We don't ask for every itemized list. We ask for a bid for the total job, which is what happened at the community center. We got bids for the electrical, we got bids for the heating, we got bids for the construction. We don't ask for a bid for every single thing. The contractors figure that out and give us a total bid.
That's how I call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I skipped over announcements. Kathy, do you have any
No, I don't have any announcements.
Jack?
I just have one, just so that everybody knows, the tax bills will be mailed out January 1st. Anybody that does not receive a tax bill that doesn't have their mortgage or their taxes in escrow by the 10th of January should contact my office. Again, the bills will be mailed out January 1. Contact my office by January 10th. If you have not received them, they are due without penalty by the end of January.
And correct me, New York State law puts the onus on the
New York
home.
State tax law, the
Yeah.
onus is on the homeowner to
So you
pay
should
your
be
tax
getting
bill.
those by,
January 2nd or 3rd. Right?
I just have some unverified rumors and things about solar, which I might want to go over. So, I don't know if you know Ron Leonard, but he's a long time activist, not activist, but has been involved in the renewable energy industry for a long time. He's a permanent member of the Ulster County Green Communities Task Force. And
he's local.
yeah, he's local.
What was his name again, Ken?
Ron Leonard.
Okay.
And he's an advisor to my kind. At the last meeting of the Ulster County Green Communities Task Force, he announced or told me that On4 Solar was entering bankruptcy and that they were being shopped around for acquisition. Now, I haven't been able to confirm that, but I saw him the other night and he confirmed what he said before. So I don't know, that might have something to do with our communication or lack of communication with On4 Solar. But I suggest you take that with a grain of salt, because I mean, he's a good source, but I can't independently confirm it.
Well, we'll see if I can get Charles tomorrow. Or...
Yeah, well, you can find out. The second item has to do with the town of Esopus. They started a 1 megawatt solar project probably about 2011, and they've been through about 5 or 6 different vendors, and they're changing vendors again. 2 years ago, when we put out the RFP for our system, they had used On4 Solar was their vendor, and then On4 announced they couldn't get financing, and then they switched over to Sun Edison, and just recently they've been negotiating with Standard Solar to take over the project.
So, and there's not a single panel up yet, you're saying?
There's not a single panel up yet?
And they've already talked to 5, you said?
Well, from the beginning, from 2011, they've gone through 5 or 6
5 or 6.
people who have committed.
Wow. Wow.
And now they're on the information I have is probably accurate as of October. And at that point, the town board has had, I think, 3 or 4 executive sessions on this. And at this point, it has not been announced what they've resolved.
Well, I'm ready to, if we don't get something really definite, I'm ready to just move on, and, because I would like to see that solar
Yeah.
array put
Well, I
in.
mean, what this really means for us is that Standard Solar is active in the area, and that, they were one of our bidders, so if we wanted to go back to them, they'd probably be receptive. The third piece of information is that, as you probably have learned, that Ulster County has accepted bids for 2 solar arrays. One, I think, is about 756 megawatts or kilowatts down at the community college, and 2.6 megawatts out of the Ulster Dump. This was and Solar City is their provider, and they have very good prices on this. While we're paying, our contract calls for about 9.5 cents per kilowatt hour in the first year. Ulster County is getting it for less than 8 cents a kilowatt hour.
Wow.
So it made a significant difference. One of the interesting things about the contract is they got it through MEGA. Now, MEGA is a municipal energy cooperative group or something like this. This was started up in Thompson County, and and they sent out a bid for an RFP for solar installations, which anyone could purchase off of. Once the bid was done and the RFP was approved.
Didn't we have somebody, were there 2 women here one night from that group?
No, that was Viridian.
Okay.
They're an ESCO. This is a municipal. It's a municipal organization,
Yeah, I thought
and
it was
only
something like that.
municipalities can purchase and that's how the county got their solar arrays. It did not go through an RFP, they did not have to go through an RFA process, but they just bought these, they just contracted off the existing RFP, which is available to anyone that would qualify to be a member of Mega.
But I'm guessing that the price fluctuates depending on the size.
Well, I expect so. I don't, and also there's the college didn't want an escalator in their contract, so they got a fixed price for 20 years.
Right.
Oh, my
Do you know
goodness.
what their fixed price
That's
is?
a lot.
And I don't remember it offhand. I sent you all the contracts, so if you just look at the first couple of pages, it's there. And the one at the dump does have an escalator. So that's a reasonable approach if we were to, again, wanted to look at,
Right.
go beyond on-force solar, is to take a look using Solar City through Mega.
Do you want to take a look in the next couple of days and see?
Well, not in the next couple of days. I mean, I'll keep my ear to the grindstone, but.
But I mean, do you
Couple of days.
think you can reach out to them and see, how feasible that is for,
Yeah, I mean, I think we're eligible to be a member of Mega. What the actual terms and bids would be of a contract would be, something different. But, there's a couple of things that, the board really should, independent of which vendor we use, the board should consider doing. First of all, we don't have a deed on that property, the sewer treatment plant. And we don't have a survey for that property. And if whatever vendor comes in is going to have to set aside an area which is part of an easement, which is then recorded in the deed.
Right.
So, we probably ought to go ahead and get a survey done and get a deed filed on that property.
I just assumed we had a deed. Why
No,
would I even-
no.
No, I found that out in 2012.
Did Jeremy send it to you? Because he found it also. I have it in the box in my safe.
Well, I went, when we were doing this back in 2012,
Say don't bother looking for one because there is none.
I went up to the county and I said, I want the deed to this property because I had the LP, what do we call it,
Lever?
the lever. He said, well, there is no deed for that. I said, what do you mean there is no deed?
Yeah.
No, that's owned by the city of Kingston. So I got all this documentation
Right,
and, about the sale and the court orders and all that.
right.
And I gave that to Dick Anthony to review, who's a pretty good property lawyer. He said, well, there's no problem with the town owning it, it's just you haven't filed
Right, we haven't filed the deed.
the deed.
Oh,
The second thing the board probably ought to consider is that within the on-force contract, there's a phrase that says we'll negotiate with on-force about the value of the wood and the removing of the trees. Yeah, that's something, if there's value in that lumber and if we're planning to clear cut it, the town could actually just contract and do it itself and get the value directly.
That's something I've discussed with Jeremy, that we would even have the highway department go in there for a week and haul that stuff out of there.
Well, I mean, that's, but, to have some guy from the Bronx come up here, hire a local contractor to clear it, we could probably just do that ourselves and get the full value of the
Lumber.
lumber and the timber that comes off of there.
Ken, can I just ask you, you were saying that Solar City is the provider, what town was that? Town of
That's to the
Ulster?
county.
County.
Ulster County. And it's two installations, one is the community college, and the second would be out at it's the old Ulster dump,
Okay.
which is, I guess, now owned by RAA, except for a clause which says the Ulster can get it back for $1 or something
Oh,
like
that's
that.
nice.
So they got it back for the dollar.
That's all very confusing. So that's just, I get these bits and pieces of rumors, some of them are verifiable and some of them aren't, but they're all very interesting.
Right.
But I mean, also, the town of the Sopas, they've been totally committed to this for 6 years or so,
Right.
and just haven't been
So
able
we're
to.
not that far behind the curve.
Seems like it. I always appreciate the work you do, Ken.
Well, thank you very
That
much.
with us.
Well, I find this all very interesting.
Kathy, you have anything?
I have nothing new, no.
Okay, well, then I guess I will make a
Can I ask you that since, and you've been appointed by Jeremy Willard to run these meetings, what you're doing now is deputy supervisor. Since this is a short meeting,
Yes.
can I ask a few questions, stand up there and ask a few questions for a couple of minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
I have to leave at 7:30.
Right under the gun.
Number one,
I might not have the
there's a
answers.
2-minute rule which came about under the Jeff Moran, the time when he was supervisor. And at that time, that town board, which was slightly different from this town board, and agreed to that for that time. And there was some very long meetings at the time that they came into that. Number one, by what rule is that carried over now? And
Just policy.
it's policy. And Jerry said the town board doesn't really operate under any particular rules or bylaws.
We don't
or-
Robert's rules or anything like that, no.
Okay, I don't like Robert's rules anyway, but
Some
there
do,
should have
no.
been something.
You know, he puts a little something in, if you come to the organizational meeting every year, he reads a little blurb in there, maybe, I don't know if he
I
did
think
the
they
best.
will, you know.
But that's it, it's very short and sweet, there's a couple of little things.
Okay, and that's
Don't-
accessible by the public.
All minutes are on
Yeah.
on the
So
website,
it's
If you go,
only minutes.
if you go to the organizational meeting minutes from last year,
every year.
yeah, he reads them every year.
But I think, a lot of the things we do are required by law. I mean, when you pass a resolution to allocate money or
Right.
bonding and so on.
Right.
I mean, these aren't rules that the town board established.
No,
Yeah,
no.
it's the town government.
But just
I
how
still
we-
have another- I still have another question.
Okay, but just,
Yes.
to address that, but just how, our behavior at the meetings, how things will operate at the meetings. It's only a couple of sentences, and I don't remember word for word what it is, but if you go, you'll see there. And Ken's right, I mean, there are a lot of other things that are dictated by state regulations.
This would be under the annual organizational meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Dictated by state regulations. Okay, so
Now-
that's the rule.
Hold on. Now, the town board, this is a town board for the town of Woodstock Incorporated.
Town of Woodstock is incorporated,
Are we incorporated?
probably something, except with Richard.
Okay, now in order to be incorporated, I know it must have been in the 18-something, but isn't there, at least since then, a requirement for some sort of town bylaws? I mean, we have a tiny organization.
I'll ask,
We're
bylaws.
required to have bylaws for a tiny little nonprofit organization.
We're tax exempt, so we don't have to follow the IRS rules.
No, we're tax exempt too, and we have to have bylaws.
Yeah, but the IRS gives you your tax exemption. We don't have to have a tax exemption from the IRS.
We're a
We're a
municipality.
governmental entity.
We
We're talking
don't-
about fiscal responsibility to the public, not the
So,
IRS.
so in other words, so the library board, municipality, fire department, municipality, and
And none of us file tax returns.
town of Woodstock, municipality, and no one has to have bylaws.
I'll ask, I don't think so, no.
Okay, or even
I will-
rules of
I will-
operation.
I will ask.
That's one of the things we asked for.
Okay, and I
Well, if
urge,
you didn't get them, we don't have them.
okay, but I urge
No,
you
this
to
is a
have
new
them,
one.
to try and get a hold of them and submit them to anyone who wishes a FOIA
Absolutely.
for them.
I absolutely will look into it.
Maybe even
I
answer
don't believe that they
questions at a
exist.
future meeting.
But the reason a tax exempt organization like yours requires bylaws is the IRS requires you to have them in order to have your tax exemption.
Because we have to prove it.
Yes,
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
we're run by state government, state laws.
So are you saying that no one oversees what you guys do?
Of course,
Everything we do is
So
open.
state,
I actually-
actually, there are state laws.
Yeah,
You can go online and find town laws, very easy, and that's what regulates the
The
towns.
state
and
audits our
municipalities and
books.
what's
We do, every January, we do an audit of
up. Monies.
the monies, the town clerk and the tax collector, the supervisor and the bookkeeper, and the courts. And we review all their policies and how they go about handling the town's finances, and that all gets shipped up to the state.
And then we get,
And,
and
and,
we get audited by the state controller's
and,
office.
and we put in
So you
a
oversee
yearly
the
report.
courts and the police?
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
in the town.
Well, for
No,
this
police don't
particular
take money.
audit, the police don't take money, so what I'm talking about now that we'll be doing in January will be for any departments that actually handles monies.
Then what we were looking for the rules was to get on the agenda, so we have more than 2 minutes, and we
It's the
have a dialogue
supervisors.
back and forth
It's the
on the
supervisor,
public record.
the supervisor's call, or if two council people request the supervisor to put something on the agenda.
The supervisor sets the agenda every
It's
meeting.
the supervisor's agenda, but two board members can say, I would like to put.
Well, we'll look at the state rules and make a comment. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
the
state
town laws
rules
are all
on-
online.
On open meetings
One more
laws,
thing about town laws.
deny the public any ability to make a comment. It's up to the board.
The state, that's not dictated by the state.
Right.
That's
You-
all the
we-
more reason we need to get off
You-
the public be heard and on to formal presentations for something as important as trademark and copyright and intellectual property and
And the
swindle.
rights of
That's not
Yeah.
any purview of the town board, though,
Yeah,
copyright
you-
and trademark,
you're-
that's way above any purview of the town board.
No, it's not.
It's
It's
entirely-
not.
Joe.
See, that's it. We don't get a
See, you
dialogue.
just shut us up
That's
without
it.
hearing what we have to say.
You've got four different, Jackie, thank you. I'll let you know who you made to adjourn.
That's what I mean. Whenever the issue comes to resolution, it falls apart.
What?
To be resolved,
To be
but between
resolved.
us and you.
Yeah, what I'm
We
saying,
have no
Joe,
dialogue, no
is
voice.
Alicia was up speaking, and then you're yelling from behind, and Paul is yelling from behind, and it's chaotic.
That's
We're
why
having a
we-
conversation now, and I've always,
What's
whenever I
our
run these
remedy?
meetings, I'm pretty tight about keeping 2 minutes. And you'll remember this, Randy, that one time I said, look, if we finish the meeting early, we'll sit and listen. And we had a dialogue after the meeting. Excuse me, at the end of the meeting. The meeting was still going on, just like it is now. So,
Thank you for letting me ask questions.
my pleasure. And I'll look into the
I may
bylaws.
have some more, but I'll ask them, outside of the meeting at some time.
You know, you have our email addresses too. Don't
There's-
ever hesitate to say,
Right.
because if you emailed me
We
that,
come to the town clerk's office from time to time, and,
but if you emailed me that a week ago, I may have been able to have an answer tonight about the whole bylaws issue.
There was no motion to end the meeting and Jackie left.
Jackie had something to
She
do with
has
But
setting.
that's what I'm saying. These don't feel like kosher meetings.
Yeah,
If
some
we
of
have
us
the
do have
rules, we can
personal
be kosher. We don't
lives.
want to be abusive.
This-
we're
this is
frustrated
not-
too.
What's not kosher about it? We're having a
We
dialogue.
can't, no, we don't. We're not on the record. None
We're
of this, other than us recording it and being on the radio, which is a great threat because of the
there's
copyright
There's
issue.
a record right there.
No, that hasn't been posted for months. It used to be on the library website.
Every one of them is documented though.
You can't, you have to,
There's a
again, you
record.
have to go through the supervisor slash
How is that
leader's
any,
website.
how is that any different from Jackie?
Permission.
How is that any different from Jackie taking notes though?
Oh, you
It's the
want
same. There's a
She's
record.
not here. She's not here.
But we would,
We want rules. We want to play with you correctly.
yeah, but we want rules that are fair for us, for the people, as well as you just dismiss us. Okay, we heard what you said, you're dismissed, and you don't comment. Like, how many times have we been here telling you the studio's in disrepair, the Woodstock TV studio's in disrepair, it's not going out on the internet. What's that?
Richard Spool's working on it.
No,
No, he's bringing in the same old broken down equipment that's been there.
He's overseeing that.
I told you at least a month ago that all the materials we got for the sound and in the community center was donated, and you never asked for this prior to when we had all those meetings for a year, you
No,
never said.
no, we were
Excuse me,
asking
Joe,
for
you were not even asked
Yes,
for
yeah,
meetings. You did not ask for equipment at that time. You asked for lots of things, no window, blackout, a certain length of the room. I have all my notes. You did not ask for new equipment at that time, and so you didn't get new equipment
I
at
was
that time.
asking for
So
new
now you
equipment
need new
before the
equipment.
community center was even worked on. Right here, and it's on the public record, that I was saying that
Well,
the
at town board meetings, yes.
and they're witnesses also, before that you even worked on the community center, I was telling you this stuff. You were being made aware that the studio is totally run down, that it's offline.
Richard Spool is overseeing that.
And we're putting some.
I was tasked by Jeremy to research new equipment, and I did for the ad hoc committee of the TV station when I presented the modest proposal for modifying and upgrading and bringing the studio up to date. Rich Spool, who is now in control of this situation, alienated everybody else who was on the ad hoc committee at the time by saying, if there's new equipment in here and I have to wire it up, I quit. That's how Rich Spool has ended up in charge of the situation. Nobody's done any oversight on it at all, and that's why we're going to end up with the same amateurish rig, not amateur, but amateurish, difficult to operate, difficult to recruit new producers. This was all discussed well before the rebuild of the community center, and I know that one of the issues that was brought up to you two about the rebuild of the community center was an accessible separate entrance to the TV station, and all of this other stuff happened, and all of these other rewrites for which you don't have specific accounting for happened. Nothing ever happened with an accessible entrance to the TV station, and now people are beginning to go to that community center, and to a one they're coming up and telling me, Randy, you were right, this whole thing of the ramp inside what used to be the closet is a maze, except for 1 week after the week that I complained here, that ramp was blocked again by ladders, and one was leaned up the last week that the Performing Arts of Woodstock was there. A ladder was strategically leaned up on the inside against the door, so when you open the door to the one ramp to get to where the drummings are or anything on the other side, it was completely blocked. I had to have Felicia and somebody else had to come in to help her, and if I had been there by myself, there was no way I was going to be able to move that ladder. And there's still no entrance,
Except
there's still no
except for the one time that I was in there it was after the time you were in there and complained about it, and I talked to PAW and they moved
Right.
it. I have not seen a ladder anywhere
The
around.
next
that, so
week it was
Last
clear.
3%.
The next week, which was 3 weeks ago, the ladder was out after we complained to you. The week after that is the week I'm talking about. It was back. Now that the PAW is out, again, last week it was fine.
Yeah,
Except
I don't
that,
know.
except to say that you heard our complaints about the TV station is at best disingenuous. Because I could go home right now and bring you the list and the design I came up with. I had it here one night. And Jeremy asked me for that. And this is the sort of memory hole that creates the sort of requests for FOIAs and people wanting to audit the books, because people don't understand how somebody can be here like me, a disabled person, and on the unanimous desire of the producers of the TV station, represent myself as such to ask the town board for consideration. And I hear you tonight talking about all these plans that you've got to make to put up this wall for the donors that people maybe glance at and they go, oh, that's nice, and then they turn away. But I've never heard you once look for a revision for a ramp for the disabled for that TV station. And it's
Or an
personally
upgrade on any
insulting.
equipment.
Or any equipment.
I'd like to.
And it's disingenuous.
Second.
I was wanting to ask a question.
Go ahead.
When are you going to notify the people who were candidates for the volunteer boards?
At the organizational meeting, we'll make those appointments. I think the ethics board we could make sooner, but I think Jeremy wanted to do a more organizational meeting.
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
You won't be there?
I had plans too, but they got moved.
You notice when we get the
Is it
thought
usually
right
like
away,
a
you
10,
gotta vote to end the
15?
meeting.
Yeah, we'll
No,
Is it, how quick is it?
And then I have to answer something.
He'll have to read a lot, so.
Oh,
it'll be a while.
yeah, I don't think I can stay.
All in favor?
Oh,
You know, just so you stand up for that, did you have anything you wanted to talk about? You just came up for a visit?
This meeting,
You know, there was a Republican